Are you mentally prepared for this? We're about to find out.
I ain't gonna give in now. I think gonna live this now. I'm gonna be man, I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in the ring when I'm not getting mad when I'm back with the whip. Cause I am just up on the journey. Just know that I'm just going to say.
Warriors, rise. Grand rising warriors. Are you mentally prepared for this? I'm going to break down the facts, figures, numbers, logic. Been on this YouTube channel for about 3 years now, and the things that they called me a tinfoil hat guy about 3 years ago are now our truth. So all I'm sharing with you is facts, figures, numbers, logic, historical cycles, and things that they are saying. They're giving us the blueprint. So today I'm going to break that down for you today. But the message I have for you as a man or a woman of your household is, are you mentally preparing for this? Our lives financially, spiritually, the way we communicate, the way we operate, the way we show up at work, and the way that we may raise our kids or choosing who raises our kids. Think about that for just a moment. Is changing as we knew it. We're moving from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. We're moving from inputting into a computer to connecting with the computer. And if you do not become mentally strong and understand that if you don't connect with your heart and brain coherence and keep that in alignment with the foundation of understanding who you truly are, you will easily be manipulated and swayed within this new paradigm. So as I break this down for you today, these are just facts, figures, numbers, logic. Now remember, what happened 3 days before Jesus was crucified? He was flipping over the money changers. Roman days, they put us in a Colosseum. They got us drunk off the free alcohol. Every single time we go so far into the left hemisphere of the brain, right? We get into the world. We start living in the world instead of being, you're supposed to be in the world, not of the world, excuse me. So we start living too deep in the left hemisphere of the brain, which is facts, figures, numbers, logic, and fear. We need to get back into the right hemisphere of the brain, which is light, love, and positivity. So if you want to be part of the best community in the world, join 3twarrior.com, 3twarrioracademy.com. So let's dive into it, Warriors. So we're going to watch the first video, okay? Now what we're going to watch is we're going to watch Jerome Powell, okay? Jerome Powell. I've showed you this video over and over again. Now, why do I show you the same videos? What you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes your unconscious activity. So they share things with you subconsciously or unconsciously, excuse me, they're coming into the unconscious mind, which is deep rooted in your subconscious mind, fear. But Jerome Powell has been telling you that we're coming back to a new economy. He told you in 2020. He told you right here in 2021. And again, he's telling us in 2022. So we're going to watch that. But then I'm going to show you the things that line up to the great financial reset. And if you're not subscribed to our channel, make sure you hit the subscription button, excuse me. And then 8 o'clock every day, our crypto research team does the Good Morning Crypto Show. And then tomorrow, Waters Above and I go over the end, which is the Shemitah. Okay, check this out.
We're not going back to the same economy. This will be a different economy. And one of the things we hear from companies is that they've spent a lot of time since the pandemic arrived looking at ways to have more effective technology and perhaps fewer people. So you're going to see some of that in these public-facing jobs. So there will be millions of people who have a hard time finding their way back into the workforce and recovering the lives that they had just a year ago. And, you know, I think it would be appropriate for us to continue to support those people. The recovery, though, here remains.
Okay, so listen to what he said. He said, we're not coming back to the same economy. Okay, we're not coming back to a same economy. He told you that. We are coming back to a new economy, leveraged towards technology. Okay, they're worried about the middle class getting leveraged towards technology. That was in 2021. He said that in 2022, or excuse me, 2020 and 2021. Now, here he is in 2022. Now, I apologize for the audio. It's the audio on their video here, but it's a little choppy. But listen to the end. It's 1:13 minutes, but listen at the end what he says, okay? And watch voice inflection and how stressed he's becoming. He's letting us know we're heading to a brand new world and a brand new economy.
We wanted to hear directly how our monetary policy decisions were affecting people's daily lives. So then the pandemic comes and upends everything, the way we work, live, learn, and conduct business. And we kept these conversations around Fed listens going.
Okay. So he said, we were trying to figure out how our policies were affecting people's lives. Let's listen to that again. He said, then the pandemic came. So they were trying to see how their policies affected people's lives. And then the pandemic came. So listen to what he just said.
Wanted to hear directly how our monetary policy decisions were affecting people's daily lives. So then the pandemic comes and upends everything, the way we work, live, learn, and conduct business. And we
upends everything, the way we live, learn, work, and do business. I want you to hear that one more time.
Wanted to hear directly how our monetary policy decisions were affecting people's daily lives. So then the pandemic comes and upends everything, the way we work, live, learn, and conduct business. And we kept these conversations around Fed listens going. And we thought we gained valuable insight, which continues to help guide our policy decisions. And I also think we delivered good transparency about how the Fed works to the American people through this process as well.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Do you understand how the Feds work? Be honest with yourself. Do you understand how the Feds work? I guarantee you walk down the streets, ask people, how does the Fed work?
So these events have now become a permanent fixture of our broader outreach. And my colleagues and I I'm sure we remember each one of these events that we've been part of. They're really the real life embodiment of our policies and the way they affect the people that we serve. And they do inform our thinking as policymakers. So we continue to deal with an exceptionally unusual economic set of disruptions. As policymakers, we're committed to using our tools to help see the economy through what has been a uniquely challenging period. The insights you share in these events help us to hone in on the challenges and opportunities that are.
Okay, listen right here. Okay, so they were communicating with the people. Then the pandemic came. Basically, people are telling them, hey, listen, the policies are affecting us. And then we destroy their lives through the pandemic. And now they say that they're using the people's words to help them, but interest rates are through the roof. Inflation is through the roof. But listen to what he says right here.
They're shaping what we might think of as the new normal of the American economy. And it'll inform us as we try to get there.
Okay. So they keep telling us the new normal is here, guys. The new normal of the U.S. economy is here. He said it over and over again. Where do you hide something? In plain sight. He said the American people now know what the Feds are. Do you know what the Feds are? Do you know how to easily describe what the Feds do? Okay, the Feds, remember, the Federal Reserve in 1913 was created, a group of very wealthy bankers. I highly recommend you read The Creature of Jekyll Island. I highly recommend you dive into that. The Feds are to control interest rates, right? They're to control the job markets. Two of the biggest roles. There's other roles as well, but those are two of the biggest roles. So check this out. So the Fed to reset the U.S. housing market through a difficult correction. 5 things to know about the plan. So Jerome Powell told reporters back in June that spiking mortgage rates would see the pandemic housing boom fizzle out. Okay. So what they're doing basically is they're spiking interest rates to create inventory, right? The normal everyday person, the rates are about 5.99. They raised rates 0.75, and now they're sitting about, I think the Fed's rate, we'll look at it in just a moment, but I think a mortgage is just under 7% now, which still isn't a lot if you think about it, right? But the problem is, since 1980s, when this happened before in 1981 and 1982, your salary hasn't skyrocketed. It used to be our salaries are going up as our productivity went up with inflation, but inflation has gone up, but your salaries haven't gone up. So my parents' home in 1973 was around $18,000 to $23,000. Okay, interest rate was about 19%, somewhere around there. Their house now today is worth $400,000 as is. Think about that. Has their pay gone up that much? Absolutely not. But here's what I'm asking if you're mentally prepared for. Check this out. This is happening globally. This is the great global financial reset. These are interest rates going up globally. There's only a couple countries, only a couple places, central banks that their interest rates have gone down, but they're coming down from high numbers, barely down like 0.25% if I look at all of them. Yeah, they went down. One just went down 1%. Turkish interest rate. They were at 13. They went down to 12. But look at these rates skyrocketing, globally skyrocketing. Okay, this is important to understand. Important to understand. We have a global pandemic that shut all of us down globally. We have global interest rates going up, and then boom, this is the global inflation rate from 2017 to 2027. So this is what they forecast it's going to look like. So here's my opinion what's going to happen, okay? So they pump up interest rates, make it impossible after a pandemic when people got screwed in the pandemic. The middle class is getting wiped out, leveraged towards technology. The working class in America, the small businesses are going to get smashed. All the wealth is going to head up into the tech companies, which it already is. They bailed out of their brothers and sisters with the printed money, buying junk bonds from those companies. We have 20% of zombie companies. Here's the problem when interest rates go up. What does interest rates going up mean? This is what you need to understand. He said that he taught the American people about how the Fed works. So here's what happens when interest rates go up. When interest rates go up, we lose jobs. They purposely screw up the job market. That's what it's about. They raise interest rates because companies have to cool inflation. And the only way they can cool inflation is to let people go so they can keep their prices stable because people no longer are spending. When someone can't afford a house or someone can't afford to think straight or buy gas, they stop spending. So they cannot raise their prices. So in order to not raise their prices, they let go of people. And it causes this vicious cycle. We go into a recession, and this is going to be a global depression. I'm showing you this right here, a global depression. So this is interesting. This is what's coming next. 19% of people, this is the new narratives happening. Pay attention to UBI and this quiet quitting thing. The quiet quitting thing is all about pushing this UBI narrative. 19% of people, it's funny, people are talking about quiet quitting. Like this, guys, pay attention to what it's about. It's about a narrative. It's not about this. This has been happening for a long time. It's a narrative pushing you towards UBI. 19% of people think universal basic income would alleviate work frustration. Here's what experts say. So people were getting their stimulus checks. You go out to Vegas, it was packed, right? People want to sit at home. People don't want to work. That's what they're trying to do to us. That's what they're trying to get us out of our creative brains. They're so pissed off for working for companies that they don't get shit from, where they get a 25-cent. Of course, people are pissed. And then this UBI is everywhere now. Look at all these narratives. When have you heard about UBI in America? Think about that. Unexpected outcome of C-19 pandemic, a slew of universal basic income programs. All these programs are popping up. There's universal basic income, which means everyone gets a payment. There's basic program payments must be enough to meet individuals' basic needs. And income, by definition, has to be continuous and reoccurring, he says. So universal basic income is continuous payments to take care of your household needs and your food so you can survive. You don't have to work anymore. What does that mean? That means more of the money and control goes into the elites, and they control every single factor of your life, okay? And then this narrative, I just pulled this up. If you type in quiet quitting, look at it's everywhere. If you just hit, boom, Google, look at this. 5 hours ago, 1 day ago, it's the new thing. All of a sudden you saw C-19, right? But now it's quiet quitting, inflation, interest rates, warriors. They're pushing us off a cliff. And the next thing you know, 2023, your FedNow service is coming. Your FedNow services will be here where you'll be able to, well, you're going to have to, right? There's going to be no money in the system anymore. There's going to be no money in the system. All of a sudden, you're going to be like, oh, shit, I don't have a job. I haven't done any investing. I haven't cut out my frivolous spending, started investing in speculative assets that they say are going to come collapsing down to zero. I don't know, man. I don't know how much more I can share with people what's coming. The freight train has left the building, as Rosario says. I say the freight train has left the building. I've been saying this for years. The freight train has left the building. You're either going to go on board and go for the ride of your life or get ran over by it. The fact is, all of you have a seat on it, and you have to get on it. There is no running from this, warriors. There is no running from this. The only way to do it is to cut out your frivolous spending. This is the greatest time to become an investor because asset prices are going to be extremely, extremely low. If you need help or you need education, go to 3twarrioracademy.com or click the description down below. The best tribe of high vibration, loving people, locking arm in arm, walking up this hill together. Warriors, rise, get your shit together. Let's go.